are. Good morning. My name is Jared. I host a daily live podcast called Justice's Waiting Room. This is, of course, Justice's Waiting Room, where we talk news and politics. Nice and early this morning. Morning, Bob. Wow. Gotcha. What is getting from? Morning, Crystal. Bob. Cat. First things first, I'm pissed. This administration removed a Black Medal of Honor recipient from the U.S. Department of Defense website. This morning, we're going to talk about and honor Charles C. Rogers for his Vietnam War service. I won't even speak on the way they're treating this person. And it's awful, awful cowardly. And I'm going to assume, okay, I assume Charles Rogers died. Yeah, he died in 1990 because Donald Trump is a coward. He would have never done that if Charles Rogers was alive. Okay. Starting off hot today. Marco Rubio says purge of USAID programs complete. 83% of programs are gone. 5,200 of 6,200 programs ended. I just want to point out that shutting down all those programs is illegal and they'll be sued. And those programs will be restored. People are hurting, and that's the whole point. It's the whole point, this entire administration here. Yeah. Good morning. Good morning, fellow socialists. Yeah, the entire reason, I've had a lot of people from all over my life that have come back to me and said, "Hey, what's a socialist shit?" And kind of makes you laugh. Because a lot of the people that have come to me are from small towns, and I get to drop gems like, have you ever had the pleasure of using your volunteer fire department that you have there? And they say, yeah, actually, they came and have put out a fire on my land. Oh, no shit. Yeah. Hmm. You know what's pretty socialist? Fire departments. You know what's even more fucking socialist? Volunteer fire departments. Yeah, that's right. So if you live in a town, for the record, that has a volunteer fire department, that is about as fucking socialist uh as it gets. It's one of the more honorable things that you can do is save people and when their houses burn and when their abodes burn. Well, Crystal, see, here's my thing. I've never seen Trumpers as the problem. They're the victim. What I have a problem with now are people that aren't supportive of Donald Trump at all, starting to say shit like, he has a point, and also, hey, look, you got to give Donnie credit, and it's like you don't have to give Donnie credit ever. You don't have to ever see shit from their point of view. What? And again, I just want to point out that when Donald Trump got elected, what did you see every person with a popular TikTok account start trying to sell you? On Tyranny. They tried to sell you that book On Tyranny. And in the first chapter, in the first paragraph of On Tyranny, which was, for the record, also made into a fucking meme, it said, uh, don't obey in advance. Right? This is all over. And as far as I'm concerned, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit is the fucking internet. Right? It was all over the fucking internet. Don't obey in advance. Don't bend the ring, kiss the knee, none of that shit. And what I've started to see, for the record, I made a video this morning, maybe you ought to go watch, where somebody, good morning, Patty, where somebody said, they made a video and they was standing in front of their dress uniforms with all their ribbons on and their American flag and their little Mustang key hanging out the pocket, being about as American as you could fucking be in a video, right? And he says, y'all need to stop saying Slava Ukraini. We need peace. Donald Trump's right. And you're just like, that, I would have never followed you. I would have never followed you in a million fucking years if I'd have known them words was about to come out of your mouth. What the fuck are you talking about? And he goes on to say, I don't want my kids fighting in this war. We're going to be fighting Russia forever. Okay, okay, dog. Slow down. First of all, there are people out there that actually believe that, and here's how their brain worked. Oh, it's completely normal for the US and Russia to negotiate a peace plan between Russia and Ukraine without Ukraine being there. That's completely acceptable. Uh-huh. Yep, I'm there. I'm there the whole way. I understand and agree. Yep, Vladimir Zelensky should not have been able to negotiate for his entire fucking country, who got invaded. And their thought process was, if Russia is willing to come to the table and sign a peace treaty, we should just get it over with, right? And it's like, there are so many problems that I don't know where to start, but here's where I like to start. I'm a big history buff. Does Russia have a history of making good on its word? Moreover, Putin as a leader of Russia, are they like really good at living up to their contracts? Let me just say Wagner. That should be like all that you need to know. Wagner PMC. And you know that like Russia will absolutely say, "Oh sure. Yeah, we'll sign a peace deal for a country we invaded." And you got somebody with their whole chest, all their U.S. military. I'm pretty sure that was Army, but I don't actually care what branch you were in. You could just be wrong. You don't have to be branch specific. Um, but I think he was the Army, And I don't give a fuck what your job is. And I think this is the same person that made the stop calling JD Vance a Pogue video. So, not my favorite person. Okay? Here's the difference between me and a Pogue. Okay? A Pogue is someone like JD Vance who wasn't in the fucking infantry in the Marine Corps. He worked in a fucking office. And as a result, he has absolutely no empathy towards people that are out there in the front lines in the fight, right? He's not loyal to the ground pounder. Good to go. So when you talk about your time in service, understand that the only people that should ever use the word pogue are infantry. Nobody else should ever be calling anyone a pogue. Good to go? If you're not 11 Bravo and you're not a fucking O3, shut the fuck up. Otherwise, freedom of speech, bitch. You can say whatever the fuck you want. And what I want to point out is the same, and that's why I unfollowed him. I don't actually owe you anything. I'm not going to name names. Okay? I'm not going at people's throats. I'm not that kind of fucker. I'm just going to unfollow you, and I'm going to say it does not pass any semblance of logic to see this from the current administration's point of view and Russia's point of view that the peace is what's best for Ukraine. Because what I want to make sure we say that we know for fact is never happening. Russia is never turning their fucking tanks around and just leaving fucking Ukraine without a shot fired. Are you fucking kidding me? 3 days ago, Ukraine used drones to not only take out drone production facilities for Russia, but also cut off half their fucking oil supply with drone attacks. And you mean to tell me what's left of Russia's invading military is just going to turn around and fucking leave? On what planet? So let me get this straight. You're making a video with your whole chest saying that stop saying Slava Ukraine, we need to see an end to this war. Uh-huh. And you think the way that happens is Ukraine signs a peace treaty they didn't negotiate, and Russia just turns around and leaves. Do you understand that that sounds fucking stupid? And that doesn't make any fucking sense at all. And there's absolutely no historical aspect that backs that up. Russia's not good on a treaty. No, I can almost assure you no treaty's ever been negotiated third party and also worked out for the third party, right? So you can bet your ass Russia's going to continue killing Ukrainians. Ukraine's going to continue to fight back, and it's a war. This is what happens. And for the record, Slavic fucking Ukraine and fair winds and or whatever, clear skies and following winds or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I wish them nothing but the best against Russia. What the fuck are we talking about? Like they say I want to see the end of this war. You do? How? By any means necessary? Because that's the one thing that I'll have a big problem with is there are people out there that want capitalism to keep going, right? And why? Well, we have to feed this military industrial complex, and if we don't, we'll all die. And it's like, okay, well, 90% of those contracts are going to fucking Elon Musk now. Do you still support that military industrial complex that must exist and therefore must hold up capitalism? And I'd argue that most Americans do not. Most service members don't. You know, we talk about the investment in the military industrial complex, and as somebody that was in the infantry and the Marine Corps, you understand that touches the Marine's hands last. He gets the pennies on the dollar out of those billions of dollars meant, and that most of that goes into R&D and production of typically military vehicles. I would say 85% or 85 cents on the dollar of every dollar invested into military industrial complex goes to producing either a munition, a vehicle, a plane, Obviously now, SpaceX's shuttles, and it's probably more like 90%, 90 cents on the dollar, right? So if there ever were a time where it was very evident that the military industrial complex was meant to fall in my lifetime, and that as a result of it falling, there will be so much money left over. There's a reason that the billionaires are clamoring for this, is because Elon Musk is reckless. He's going to end up getting his contracts canceled with the federal government, all of them. I'm telling you. Because again, I've been saying for a while, if you think that Elon Musk, if you think Donald Trump's going to protect Elon Musk, you don't know Donald Trump very well. Donald Trump doesn't have close friends. Because you know how I know Donald Trump doesn't have close friends? Because nobody has stepped in yet. Nobody has stepped in that Donald Trump trusts that says enough is a fucking enough, man. You're done. Pack it up. You know you're not going to fucking Mar-a-Lago. You're not going to Mar-a-Lago to golf, dog. You need to go lay down. You're tired. You stop eating like shit, taking all them fucking drugs, and sit the fuck down. He doesn't have any friends. He doesn't have anyone in his whole life that would sit him down and straighten him out. It's too late for him. Same thing with Elon Musk. And the fucked up thing about Elon Musk is Elon Musk 1,000% has people in his life that have tried to talk him out of his narcissism, their shared narcissism. But I just want to make sure that instead of giving you these loony ass fucking takes like, oh, well, stop saying it's all about Ukraine. I want to see the end of the war. I don't want my children fighting. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Your children will be fighting against Russia. And if you don't like that, don't have fucking kids. And don't let them serve. And if you can't understand that still, the most honorable thing that you could fucking do is volunteer your life in service of your country. And in many countries, it's compulsory. So the fact that you get to choose in the United States is part of what makes this the greatest country in the world, is that some of us chose and some of us didn't even get to do that. Some of the people that are the heroes of this country didn't even get to choose whether they served or not. Yeah, 100%. I'm 100%. As soon as it gets too hot, they roll on each other. And Elon looks at Donnie like, "Save me, Donnie." And Donnie looks at Elon like, "Who are you?" "I don't know. I got dementia, dog. Like, I'm 80 years old. The fuck you talking about?" And Elon's like, "No, no, 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 no. Wait, 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 wait. We're way closer than that, Don." Don's just like, I don't know who you are, son, but you're awful weird looking. How much plastic surgery have you had?" And he's just like, "I got it because you told me to get it." And he's like, "Oh, the hair transplants too?" Yeah, I don't think I'd ever be friends with somebody like you. You're not my type. You own an electric car company? I think electric cars are stupid. How could we even be fucking friends? We've been sleeping in the same bed and shit. You know what I mean? All right, maybe I took that a little too far. But it is, hey, you know what? It's true. So I just want to remind everyone that I have gay friends that have sent me videos of Donald Trump and Elon Musk in the same room and how they act in the same room. And we're talking about when the lights are low and they're in Mar-a-Lago and there's booze flowing and shit. And the way they act towards each other is lovers in disguise. And if you want to go do a little Google foo and see if you can't find you some footage too, where you watch Donald Trump and Elon Musk in the same room, when there's like other people around, some Mar-a-Lago, like I said, the lights are low, the music's loud, there's booze and shit, and you watch them the way they look at each other, they're like an old gay couple. What the fuck are we talking about? I, I didn't have to be gay to see it. I got sent it by my gay friends, and they were like, "Watch this shit," and you watch it, and you're like, "That's weird." They did everything but like hold hands and kiss, and like play with each other's butt. hmm That's like an old gay couple. I'm like, "Oh my god, that's so crazy." Is that like normal? They usually do that? And, like they are together. And then there was a period of time, before Donald Trump threatened to arrest people that he disagrees with, where people were like sharing content. I got trapped on TikTok where because of people were sending me that in messages, you know how that affects your fucking algorithm. I all of a sudden now I'm watching like other gays be like, "Oh my God, look at Donnie and Elon," and you're like, "Holy shit!" Like gay people have fucking radar, motherfuckers. Like they know one of their own. Like they've picked them out, and like when you talk about like an older gay couple, it's like they were persecuted when they were young and in love, so they learned to hide their love even in plain sight. And I can imagine it gets a little weird when you're in the room with someone that you're fucking in love with and you have to like hide that for fear for your life, right? Um, And for the record, if you had any question, would Donald Trump be as successful if be where he is if he was an out gay? No. Would Elon Musk be nearly as successful if he were an out gay? No. Because that's not how the world works. Um, and I'm talking about like the whole time, because there's plenty of people that have been like, and there's also been plenty of people that have been like, "Oh, you're fucking crazy. Elon Musk is banging this Ashley St. Clair, the girl that he had his most recent kid with, where she'd been trying to contact him for months and he didn't talk to her." One of the things that I've come to understand about Elon is that he can't get down like that. Yeah, I mean, and I ain't talking about no performance anxiety shit either. I'm talking about like his dick don't work like that. Coming from like other women that he's tried to like force himself upon. And again, what I was told, and these aren't my words, okay, these are somebody else's words, but everything looks like a sausage and sausage casing. Actually, I'm gonna say it again because it's hard to say it out loud. Uh, not everything. Wait, just about anything in sausage casing looks like sausage. Because again, what I haven't got seen pictures yet, but I've come to understand that Elon Musk had a botched surgery. So, my favorite thing my favorite thing from the last 24 hours here is Donald Trump last night decided he was going to nullify all of Joe Biden's pardons. And the reason that he's doing this is because he signed them with an auto pen, which what Donald Trump is saying is that Joe Biden was not the person that's actually physically signed all these pardons. Okay. Somebody said ketamine is a horse tranquilizer. Yeah, I'll say that. I mean, it certainly had Elon tranquilized at the inauguration when his fucking eyes were rolling in the back of his head. That's from like a week ago. Here's Jasmine Crockett saying last night we might not have elections after 2028. Fucking hilarious. Donald Trump's like, your pardons aren't any good because you didn't sign them right. Hey, I just want to say this too. A lot of people have been sharing with me this Cliff Cash. This supposed to be a fucking comedian and like a veteran and all that shit. I just want to point out, okay, about Cliff Cash that he's a fucking coward and that motherfucker made multiple pieces of content on the internet threatening violence against Donald Trump and has done absolutely none of that shit. And yes, he went to Washington D.C. with the Veterans March and he fucking protested and they went to fucking Heritage Foundation and protested. Cool story, bro. I just want to continue to point out that violence isn't the answer. And that also, man, you look like a massive pussy when you tell the world that you're gonna not never let Donald Trump become president. Oh, really? About that. And until I see some walking back of some things and saying like I shouldn't have said that shit, he's a fucking coward ass bitch. He should have never done that or said that. And it probably hurt the movement. And I've been trying to tell people part of the reason that socialism is going to work over something like communism or fascism is because violence loses you people. And it's not just the people that you lose to violence, it's the people that won't fuck with violence. There are a considerable portion of people that once they see your movement turn violent, they're no longer part of your movement. And again, the true cancer in all of this, the true cancer will be the moderate. I'm going to keep saying it. You have a far right authoritarian dictatorship, oligarchy, right? A kleptocracy, all these fun words that we like to describe this regime. And ultimately, what led to this is the moderate, is the person in the middle holding at bay both the right and left as equal threats. And so there's a reason why I think that when you look at the political spectrum, we need an American Socialist Party, we need a Workers' Party, we need a pro union, pro equality party, one that has rules, for example, one that says, if you agree to run as part of the American Socialist Party, there's no changing your party status once you get elected. Let's start there, right? And then also, right off the back of that, where you can't turncoat on this party that helped you get elected, right? But we want to push for things like term limits. We want to see the end of stock trading and insider trading. I've been shouting about it for a long time and saying like, hey, there's no way this is sustainable. Society itself, a polite society is not sustainable when elected officials get into office and turn that into a way to get money out of it. And yes, Nancy Pelosi's a fucking problem. I saw for the year, um Nancy Pelosi, or for her career as a stock trader, she had made a 65% return on investment. To give you like perspective, Warren Buffett is largely considered like the greatest investor of all time and like the king of Wall Street and shit. 31%. 31. Do you understand how much more beneficial it is to be in office and to have information that the public doesn't, and to make investment decisions based on that? Do you see how that's super troubling and might thwart democracy? Because those people that are betting on those companies, they are also going to try to push legislation or prevent legislation from impacting the company that they're invested in. It hurts their investment. Well, now they're thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about their constituents, and they're thinking about some business, right? That's part of the problem with wanting, um, in a socialist, a syndicalist socialist government, is that people think, well, if we're pro union and we want people that are union leaders to be politicians, won't they, having a vested interest in the company they're working to the point where they felt like forming a union or being a leader in a union for this company, will turn his back on his constituents and support his company? And you would hope someone that has been working against corporations to get better wages and health care for their employees. Yeah, CCI already talked about it. So yeah, it was, we already talked about that. So yeah, Jesus Christ. Oh no. Sorry about that. Oh, and I lost that whole chat log. That sucks. When's Patty's Day? Is that today? March 17th. Is that today? It is. For the record, I have green on. I have green on. Yeah, Donald. Yeah, CC. He last night he said Joe Biden's pardons were null and void because he used auto pen, and so what he's suggesting is that Joe Biden didn't sign all those, right? He didn't sign them, you know, which is just the dumbest shit ever. France wants back its Statue of Liberty. Awesome. Awesome. Got a couple people watching us on Clapper. You know, we got about, what do we say, about 20 people? 22? Here's a lawsuit against Donald Trump violating the First and Fifth Amendments. You're kidding me, the Statue of Liberty. Yeah. Newly elected, by the way. But there's a lawsuit alleging Donald Trump deporting protesters and impermissibly restricting speech as a violation of the First and Fifth Amendments. Yeah, here you go. Yeah. Somebody will suggest they just put a giant statue of Donald Trump in its place. And you know what's fucking crazy that ought to piss you off the most? You know what ought to piss us off the most? Donald Trump has this Doge shit, right? That's supposed to be the Department of Government Efficiency, right? Which is supposed to find where they're wasting taxpayer money. Did you know every time Donald Trump goes back to Mar-a-Lago and golfs, it costs $3.2 million? Yep. Little drop kick Murphys. Heck yeah, man. I was a I was a rebellious 20 something before I joined the Marine Corps. I actually had that whole genre. Yep. $3.2 million every time he goes. So remember that, 50 weekends a year, right? 52 weeks a year. Let's say he goes 40 times. Yeah, it's over 100 million. I would say that's government waste. Wouldn't you say that's wasteful? He could probably golf closer to the White House and it not cost so much money. And I want to point out people that get on their private jets and fly around the country all the time, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, it's really wasteful. hmm So when you're spending millions to go home and golf and take your entire entourage, wasteful. And I noticed that because the Modriarchy, my mod group, they pay attention to the flight tracker. They're always updating me on when there's crazy shit going on. And yeah, is that one way around trip? Well, it's not for transpo CC, so it's not like it costs 3.2 million to travel. You got to understand, he gets a major motorcade from the White House to the airport, and then when they land, he gets another motorcade. You got to understand, one of the things that I've learned about Donald Trump from people that live down there in Florida where Donald Trump is that Mar-a-Lago, he doesn't own that. That's not actually his. And he doesn't live in a house. He lives in a hotel. Yeah. Well, Crystal, I mean, there's a great reason that this show persists is because at least we're talking God damn it. Okay, so I just want to point out, right? I made a video today where I'm like, I saw someone that appeared to be like a veteran saying, I don't want to hear that Slava Ukraine shit. I don't want my kids fighting in this war. And it's like, 24 hours after you post that, Russia sent death threats or said that that Ukraine peacekeepers should die. Threatens war with NATO over Ukraine peacekeepers. Okay, so I just want to point this out. That was yesterday, right? So I'd say it's pretty safe to say no mas on the whole stop that Slavic Ukraine shit. We need peace. Do you name one time in history, one time when peace was declared while the invading army had tanks and people in that country? And also, can you point to a time when they turned the fuck around and left and didn't kill anyone else or attack anyone else? And there was no further military action. Oh, that's right. Fucking never. Never. Also, Russia sucks and they totally are going to back out of a peace deal. They're doing the same thing that Israel's been doing with all of the people they're fighting against, right? So that's one thing you will never see me do is bend the knee to these motherfuckers. I'm not I'm not pro-Israel. I'm not pro-Russia, right? I'm not going to bat for these countries that have taken over my country, that have taken over American politics. Remember, I want to keep pointing this shit out that we know. Every GOP member, every elected official for the right, for the Republican Party in the United States, took money from Russia. Every single one. 100 elected Democrats are AIPAC recipients. America Israel Political Action Committee. And in fact, Hakeem Jeffries is the highest paid AIPAC recipient, almost over 544,000. So if you want change, it's not through a moderate. Here we go. It's not through someone that wants to withhold the status quo. We only want certain people to have the levers of power. And that is either a Republican or a Democrat. I vehemently disagree. I don't think that either party represents the average American people. Just like George Carlin said, it's a old boys club and you're not part of it. You know, the Democratic Party is not voting in lockstep. They're not on the same team. They don't even unilaterally support their leadership. Just 2 days ago, Hakeem Jeffries was asked if it's time for the Democratic Party to have new leadership, and he said, next fucking question. After Chuck Schumer decided to not withhold his vote. Hell yeah, I'm a big George Carlin fan. Mostly because he's like highly fucking accurate. Half of all people are stupid, the other half are even stupider. Holy shit. He was great. So understand, like, my establishment of the American Socialist Party is a must. It must happen. Or else you might as well just surrender the United States to foreign countries and get picked apart like a carcass uh, by the crows that are countries that absolutely want to pick us clean, you know? You got to remember the sort of history that the United States has as an imperialist nation, as a colonizing nation. We don't have an admirable past. Yeah, vultures. So don't act like there aren't foreign countries that are licking their fucking chops and love how easily destabilized the United States is. How easy it is to take out comms. I mean, look at Donald Trump and his relationship with the media in the United States and tell me that he hasn't completely dominated the US media. He's completely dominated Western media. And the biggest problem is now you have people that were not on Donald Trump's side that are starting to turn that way. And also, I watched a lot of creators on TikTok that would never tell you who they were voting for or never talk about politics. And I noticed those were the people coming out saying, I voted for Donald Trump. And you're like, no shit. No fucking shit. And they'd say shit like, it's none of your business who I vote for and shit like that. And it's like, because you voted for Donald Trump. I'm not stupid. I wasn't born yesterday. You're white, you're poor, you use TikTok to make money. You voted for Trump. I'm not stupid. I knew it before you even fucking said it. And the thing about it is you have to do some real motherfucking mental gymnastics at this point to still be supporting Donald Trump. To just see lie after lie come down the pipe, ineffective policy. Understand, understand, he has a house. He has a house and a Senate. They're his. He's got a SCOTUS that'll back him up. He could pass any legislation he wants, just about, if he really wanted to. And instead, it's via executive order and presidential order. These are akin to memos. So I just want to point out there's also no point in getting all in your fifis about this administration, which again is wildly fucking ineffective. Understand. Well, that's the thing about Donald Trump. He's never been well liked, and he has not gotten more likable over time. He's gotten less likable over time. And I want to continue to point out he was losing popularity. How do we know this? Because a social media firm did an audit of Donald Trump and Elon Musk's social media profiles. So this is all of their social media profiles and found that 90% of their following was fake. It was just bots. They're the kinds of people that absolutely would buy followers. Good to go? These aren't real people, right? So one of the things that we've known is Donald Trump has been a hated man. This isn't new. For a myriad of reasons, for a long ass time, not been well liked. The only problem I see, here's the problem I see with Donald Trump. The problem I see with Donald Trump is that he said he could kill someone in the middle of Central Park or in the middle of Fifth Avenue in broad daylight and no one would say a word. And I'm afraid he's right. That's his biggest problem. His biggest problem is that he's so cocksure that, hey, I could drop someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue and nothing would fucking happen to me. And he's right. And until that changes, Yeah, we had oh, by the way, thanks for reminding me, S&M, by the way. It was super windy for a few days here in Indy, but otherwise it was 75 degrees 3 of the 4 days, and then yesterday we like to froze to death. Um, temperatures dropped sharply. Um, but yeah, I am thinking about all of the unnecessary death from the storms this weekend. There were storms all over the country, in the Midwest and in the southeast part of the country. Think like Texas East, and then probably like Iowa East. There were tornadoes and storms, and Donald Trump fired people from the NOAA and the National Weather Service, and as a result, people didn't know that these storms were coming. And again, I've made sure I've pointed out Ryan Hall, who's on YouTube, who has a live stream when there's extreme weather. Okay, and he's really consistent and reliable and a net good. And if you're thinking maybe I'm out of the loop on storms, naturally, if there's gonna be a storm, Ryan Hall will have a live broadcast. Okay. And no, and CC, no, there's no fucking way Donald Trump is gonna go to one of these places that has had a tornado and visit. It's beneath him. Okay. Remember, even though these people voted for him, he doesn't give a fuck about you. Even though he has a mandate, remember that. Even though he has a mandate, he won this election in a landslide. He doesn't give a fuck about those people, especially if they voted for you. He doesn't give a fuck about you. Because those are the people that'll hold you accountable, right? So yeah, we got a little over 20 people in here. Hey, make sure um make sure you try to get 8 hours of sleep, and make sure whatever you're doing, one of the things that I've realized is you gotta have shit that you can say to kids that translates to adults. Um, to the kids, you gotta get 8 hours of sleep. You probably need a nap too, an hour or two nap, probably 9, 10 hours of sleep total a day. But as an adult, in case you're not learning this lesson every day from this administration, in case this administration doesn't reinforce for you every day the need for self care, when you're an adult, I would tell you no matter what you do in your life, it had better lead you to a full night's rest. And I know that a lot of people, I know a lot of people out there have said, I find it hard to sleep because of this regime. My wife and I are now permanently part of the 4 a.m. club, right? Doesn't matter what time we go to bed, we're up at 4 a.m. Yeah, this week, Chuck Schumer on Wednesday has a book signing tour and starting in Washington, D.C., and I'm hoping people will show up and let him know that we needed to vote no on cloture for this continuing resolution, and we needed to renegotiate this. So again, like I want to get back to the point I was making, right, is in the same breath, hey, kids, get 8 hours of sleep a night. You probably need a nap to 8 to 10 hours of sleep a day minimum. And then, hey, when you become an adult, hey, whatever you're doing during the day, it had better lead you to a full night's rest. Because if you're finding yourself restless, and not able to sleep, it has a lot to do with your daily habits. And a lot of people won't tell you. Far too many people in my life have said, "Hey, they're an adult, let them go. Gotta let them go. Just let them fuck up." And I'm not one of those people. I'm like one of those people that if I figured out something that's working for me, I'm gonna pass that on as good word, right? I'm gonna say, hey, to the kids, you gotta drink water. You gotta stop drinking energy drinks and soda and Gatorade. You need Gatorade whenever you're engaged in a physical activity. So we'll make sure we have like Gatorade for practice and games and shit. But outside of that, you need water, right? And then to the adults, I would just make sure you pay attention to your environment and that you can produce clean water. And I'm going through it right now, right? So I'm going to talk about it right now. So over the weekend, my wife and I got a notification, got an email that a water main had burst. And I live in Indianapolis, Indiana, in Lawrence. I live on the east side. I live in the city of Lawrence. Okay, we have our own water supply and water treatment facility. Okay, well, water main broke, and it won't be fixed until tomorrow. And I think it happened on Saturday. Okay, um, what they did is we're using an an overflow from two other water treatment facilities. We're using Vigo and something else to get water. Okay. Um, and so what we realized when we looked at the City of Lawrence website was that because of this water main break and where we are getting our water. So just think about that, how weird that sounded coming out of my mouth. Because it's not our water and it's coming from somewhere else. Lawrence had a water boil advisory, and it was aimed at children and the elderly as being particularly susceptible to drinking this water that we were just getting from neighboring places. And when I went to go look for this, I could find it on the City of Lawrence website. And then immediately, because I'm that idiot, my brain was like, why would an 8-year-old go to the City of Lawrence website? Why would a 68-year-old go to the City of Lawrence website? They don't even fucking use the internet. And the only other place I could find the warning was on the Indy Star, which is the big newspaper for the city of Indianapolis. The Indianapolis Star. Gannett Media. Okay. Uh, and it was hidden behind a paywall. And again, I want to point out kids and the elderly are particularly susceptible. Neither of those are customers for Indy Star. So Indy Star doesn't give a fuck about kids or the elderly because those aren't their paying customers. So fuck them. Let's hide pertinent information behind a paywall. And so keep in mind, I'm a big proponent, big supporter of journalism, of the media. In fact, a lot of what I'm doing is journalism. I'm taking credible stories, talking about them, putting a link to that story in a chat for a live podcast. I'm literally delivering them. It's like I'm a news anchor, right? That's effectively what I'm doing. Is I'm seeing a need for this. I know that I need this. I know I need to know what is actually happening around the world to some degree every day that isn't all Trump all the time. And I hope that's what you get here. Yes, we're gonna talk about Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and this regime some. You better goddamn believe it. Yep. And Marjorie Taylor Greene too. She was talking about how when we were little, we used to have parties. Um, First of all, we did that shit with chicken pox, not with fucking measles. And the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't know the difference between chickenpox and measles, um, well, they definitely did that shit when we were kids. Someone in the neighborhood got fucking chickenpox, and all the kids had a sleepover. Everybody got chickenpox and got over it. Um, so yeah, make sure. Hey, S&M, 100%. Thank you for reminding me about wearing a mask. I wore a mask at the protest I went to on Saturday. Okay. Um, even though it was outside and I didn't have it on the whole time. The only time I put it on is when we started marching and everyone's like swirling around me as we're walking, and I was just like, mask the fuck up. Good to go. I coach sports. I coach high school sports. I give my kids masks. I make sure I get the cool looking black ones, and I say mask the fuck up. When you get into a spot and there's just a lot of fucking people and now you got to walk through all these people, mask the fuck up. And it's not just COVID. It's not just COVID. The flu was really bad this year. Measles, fucking tuberculosis. I don't even know how the fuck you transmit tuberculosis. Good to go. But there's enough out there that even my wife, and my wife has been particularly resistant. For you would think Jared Malot's wife is super lucky because she has somebody that just, hey, put a fucking mask on, and that's just the end of that conversation. But even my wife is like, who works at a hospital, wears a mask when she's at work, brought home fucking masks. I generally don't leave my fucking house. Good to go. I work from home. Tuberculosis is in the fucking air like COVID. Fantastic, Cece. That's just what I needed. So yeah, wear a fucking mask. Understand that one of the pieces I saw the other day was actually pretty good. Was talking about Donald Trump and Elon Musk's habits and saying, hey, if you're under the age of, you know, 45, you're going to outlive Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and a lot of these motherfuckers. You're just going to outlive them. And you've got to live for that. And know that, one of the things that has to be said about Donald Trump is that he's just like your grandparents that didn't want to go to the doctor, that didn't want to take care of themselves. My grandmother had shingles. Wouldn't wish that shit on anyone. I mean, if she wasn't 94, she probably would have voted for Trump. And the last time I was around that woman, I was telling my mom that Donald Trump's a fucking traitor, and my grandma got so fucking mad that she passed out. She wanted to defend Donald Trump so bad, but you can't. You can't defend him to me. You can't defend voting for him, supporting him, thinking what he's doing is fucking good. See, I've never had allergies, and I don't get sick, which is like part of the reason that I want to be a head football coach is because you don't have to worry about me not being there. I'll be there. I want to talk about, as we wind down here, been going for a little over an hour. We'll make sure we talk about the calendar coming up. So, congratulations, everybody, on a week without Amazon. That ended over the weekend. This Thursday, So for those of you participating in the rebellion, yes, bookshelves. Yes. CC came in and asked. That was the first story we talked about. Right? Where I said Donald Trump tried to say Joe Biden's pardons are null and void because he used the auto pen, which is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. He was trying to insinuate that Donald Trump or Joe Biden pardoned people without his knowledge. Um, and that's why they're a null and void. So this Thursday is a day without visa. Okay, no TikTok today. No, we got banned for a week. Hey, we got banned for a week. Here's what happened. Okay, there are just as many veterans that are bigots as anywhere else in society. It's a concentrated form of society. It is a reflection upon society. Okay, so what had happened was obviously I got myself a new hat and I was talking presumably to a bunch of veterans. And I made a comment about, yeah, it's fine. You can catch it at the beginning. Yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah, we got banned for a week. We got banned for a week because I was talking about how I worked at Pride festivals and I've been to other veterans stuff, not protests and marches, but veterans meetings in Indianapolis. So almost every one of those people, I already knew who all those people were, except for a couple of them. I knew the Marines that I saw, and then some of the other people I knew. Okay. And I said, you know what I noticed? You know what I noticed? Some of the people that were at Pride and are living as out and gay or lesbian or bisexual or queer or trans or whatever are also here at this protest. And I said, you know, one of the things that happens when you join the military is you grow a spine and you stick up for yourself. Hey, I fucking serve my country, right? Like you've heard veterans say that shit before. You grow a fucking spine. You learn to stand up for your fucking self. And a bunch of the audience left. So we were at like 32 or some shit on TikTok and it went down to like 12. And not shocked, not shocked at all. I said, "You know what's crazy about people being homophobes? It's that look, I was in the Marine Corps infantry in a time of war and I was aboard a naval vessel and that was the gayest shit I've ever done in my life. What are we even talking about? What are we even talking about? And that's no disrespect to gay people. But in terms of all the weird things that have ever happened to me in my life, being in the military, being on a naval vessel, gay as the sun is bright, what are we even talking about? Have you not heard of the Village People? And we got banned from TikTok for hate speech. So I just don't think what I was saying, I don't think they understood what I was saying. What I was getting at was I don't understand how you could be a homophobe and have served in the military because who the fuck else wants to be around a bunch of men all the time? The gays. The what? I had gay corpsmen. I had, you know what I'm saying? The chaplain was fucking gay. You know what I mean? Like there was tons of fucking headquarters company. Holy fuck. In the infantry, they have a headquarters company that's all just office workers. Gay? Like what are you talking about? And it's not men. It's not women. It's in like who the fuck wants to be in an infantry unit and be in headquarters and sit in a fucking office all day and walk around with a clipboard and shit? Gay? Gay? Never go to the field, never go to the range. Gay? What are you talking about? And if, again, it kind of in jest, like, it's supposed to be funny. Like, how the fuck could you be a homophobe? The whole fucking thing was gay. What are you talking about? Like, being on a boat with people in another branch and having them glaze you because you're a Marine and shit? Like, oh my God, you're so big. Your arms are so big. Gay. What are we talking about? And when you go out in town and you're like out partying and shit, and the other people that are out find out you're in a Marine Corps? Gay. Like, oh my God. The fuck are we talking? Women? The women I met in the military? Overwhelmingly gay. And that is entirely probably a man's fault. Like, I would venture to say 70% of the active duty Marine females that I was friends with, like, went places with, gay as fuck. What are you talking about? My senior leadership, like the guy that was teaching me fucking Urdu, who looked like The Rock and was on active duty in the Marine Corps during a time of war and wore fucking khaki pants and a polo, gay as fuck. How do I know? I saw him dancing at a fucking club. And went right up to him and dapped him up like, "What's up, dog? Didn't expect to see you here. What are you doing here?" "I'm with my friends." Oh my God, don't even talk to me. Don't even talk to me about the Marine Corps ball. Okay? I went to two of them bitches. Two of them. Okay? First things first. First things first. Definitely not gay until everybody got drunk. Definitely not gay. That was a straight event until everybody got hammered and you all are dressed to the fucking nines. And then all of a sudden, the straightest man you've ever met in your life, the manliest man you ever met in your life, now has a limp wrist and is walking around showing everybody a limp wrist. Now, grown ass men find a woman who has the same size shoe, and now I'm a grown ass man in dress blues walking around wearing some bitch's shoes. Oh, I'm gonna carry her purse too. Oh my God, she had an umbrella, and now you got a half-dressed Marine. And I'm not talking about me. I wasn't talking about me. His name was Corporal Morgan. He was fucking huge. He was like 6'5", 250, built like a brick shit house. Straightest man you ever met in your life. Called everybody faggot. Like he was a homophobe. Legit. But at the Marine Corps ball, he got so motherfucking drunk, he found a woman who was also from the woods that also had a 13 double wide fucking heel on, and he put that fucking shit on his shit with his dress blues on, pulled his fucking pants up so you could clearly see he was wearing fucking heels, and then carried her umbrella around and the fucking and drunk as shit. He didn't even remember any of that. Gay. That is so gay. Was it a fucking great time? It was a great fucking time. What are we talking about? It was a Marine Corps ball. Best meal you've ever had, best booze, most free booze you'll ever drink in your fucking life. You probably looked the best that you've ever looked in your life. And if you're single, dear Lord baby Jesus, you probably ain't gonna be single for long. Your dick ain't gonna be single, that's for fucking sure. Okay? So like I said, yeah. Astronauts finally get to come home. Thanks SpaceX did one thing right in his whole life, Bob. Don't go giving Elon Musk too much credit. I'm willing to bet he didn't fly the rocket or build it or design it or piece the parts together. Did you know what I heard the other day from Senator Mark Kelly that gave me a great deal of concern? So his brother, Mark Kelly, his brother is an astronaut and they're like twins. We were just losing, got married. No, we were both working full time and we had just come back from Mexico. My job sent my wife and I to Mexico to party for a week. And when we came back, they had used our days off. So we didn't have days off. And we were like buying a house, getting married. It was supposed to happen like July 5th and 6th because I was in the Marine Corps. I was going to get married July 4th, buy a house on July 5th. You have like this storybook shit. Um, and also I was fat and I had a fucking beard down to my belly button at the time. Um, I was super fucking depressed. I worked during the time frame of when I met my wife and got married. I worked for a company for 5 years, like helped build this company from nothing into $1 billion company. And they took us all in a meeting about 2 years in and said we're gonna false advertise and we're gonna commit wire fraud and this is just how our business is gonna work. And so I reported wire fraud and complained about us false advertising, going to HR and shit, because that was marketing going to sales, and them and marketing and sales agreeing on something, and not like the company deciding to do that. Oh my god. Oh my god. Patty, Patty. Listen, I was talking about the Marine Corps ball. Okay. Now, talked about the Marine Corps ball. Now we got to talk about Navy parties. Okay. So, first things first, you got to understand, and I want to make sure I'm right. Okay. I want to make sure I said it right. Okay. Almost 100% of the time, the Navy is higher ranked than the Marine. The sailor is a higher rank than a Marine. We learned this because I was aboard a USS Baton, and like you'd meet people that were your age, been in the military about the same amount of time. E4 is like the average rank in the Navy, and E3 is like the average rank in the Marine Corps. So they make more money on average. They also have nice leadership. They also have nice leadership that can also fucking bang and party. Um, so what I can tell you is that, oh man, I've been on 2 boat parties that I don't fucking remember. How I remember driving there and driving home because I was sober those times, and I slept on the boat twice overnight for these boat parties on the intercoastal with the Navy guys that we deployed with. Um, hey, there's Marine Corps party, Marine Corps ball. Yeah, probably one of the best times of my life. Can 1,000% attest. But them boat parties that the Navy throws, boy, that turn a boy into a man. That's for sure. Put hair on your chest, all those things. Um, but yeah, gay, really gay, really good time. Fortunately, like when you go out, when you're friends with a bunch of people and you all go out, we would go to Wilmington. That's how you knew everybody was gay because the bar they all wanted to go to was a gay bar. And we went in, and as soon as you get in there, you're like, oh, it's very clean. They have a really nice sound system. A bartender is overdressed. These bathrooms are immaculate. Why is everybody so happy? And then come to find out that everyone and their fucking brother is gay. And you're like, oh, I wonder how the food is. Oh, yeah. So, from my perspective, we are about a third of the way through. What about Kelly? So, Ange, so Senator Kelly said that when his brother came back from space, his heart had lost 20% of its mass. And I was like, "Oh shit." Um that's hey, space is not good. Not that you didn't know that. Not that you didn't think space wasn't full of radioactive material that we can't see. But yeah, Mark Kelly's fucking brother came, and they're twins. And he came back from space and his heart lost 20% of its mass and it changed his fucking DNA. And that came out of Mark Kelly's mouth. And I don't like Elon Musk because he has this Mars project that he's ultimately trying to fund. And I'm just gonna keep saying it. It's not possible. We don't have the ability to put people on Mars and them survive. Anyone that gets sent to Mars is a sacrifice. And I vote Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Go first. Tell him we'll put a Trump casino on Mars. He can have a Trump casino, Trump hotel. You could be the first one to break ground on Mars. But you got to go now. I had just come out after my first ever girlfriend at 29 and was one day from signing on the dotted line. Jeez. Now, hey, Bob, now they'll take you. The military needs people. They've opened up recruitment for a lot of people. Yeah. Tell them go found this yourself on Mars. Go do this thing and you will be the greatest heroes ever. I just want you to know that I don't know that they make it to Mars. Right now, Elon's 50-50 to keep the fucking rocket in space. Gonna go. It's a 50-50 burger. He's literally had 2 space shuttle crashes since January 17th. So again, Elon and Donnie should go together and be the first ones to break ground on Mars. Go do it. If they make it, it's the crowning achievement of humanity. And oh, fucking, by the way, they won't make it. I mean, and just remember, Donald Trump is used to the gravity on Earth and being able to shit himself. You take away gravity, it comes out his eyes and ears and mouth. I'm confident. There's no ketamine in outer space, kids. I want it televised. That would be the last thing you'd see is Donald Trump and Elon Musk covered in feces trying to cover the camera up. So you can't watch them wallow around and ultimately probably have a panic attack until they both combust, is what I'm figuring happens, that they both just have heart attacks out of worry, right? Because they would probably be all about it. That's the thing about Donald Trump and Elon Musk is they're not the sharpest tool in the shed. So they're 100% the kind of people that are like, oh yeah, you don't think I will? And it's like, no, I don't think you won't. I don't think you will, Don. I don't think you will. I don't think you'll get on one of Elon's spaceships and just say, fuck it, I'm going to Mars. And I don't think Elon will do that either. And if you can just goad them into doing it, right? Like, oh, you're a big pussy, you won't do that. You know what I mean? So anyway, we're in the first third of a target, first 1/3 of a target boycott. Okay. We just finished an Amazon boycott. On Thursday, don't use your Visa. On Friday starts a 1-week Nestle boycott. Okay. So right now, don't shop at Target. You're got about 20, you got about 3 weeks left and some change. Thursday, don't use your Visa. Friday starts 1 week without Nestle. Okay. And I'll keep you abreast if there's any other protests or pop up. Here's the thing, Zeke. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Zeke. Mars is the wrong target. It's probably one of the moons of Pluto. You know, they just discovered like hundreds of moons around Pluto, right? What you're looking for is a moon-like object that has a better gravity quotient than the moon. So our own moon has a higher gravity quotient by 20%. And so that's part of the losing mass is that space. Yeah. I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a little kid. Even when I went to college, even when I was at Purdue, I had a 3.86 GPA. I was a pilot. I was like a student instructor pilot. Top Gun's my favorite fucking movies. Top Gun 2 is like, no, it's not the Marine. No, it's, I love Shooter. That's a great fucking movie. Don't ever try to outsmart a Marine. Let's play Eat the Rich and get out of here. What do you say? By the way, you want to talk about the joy of being married? I got to introduce my wife to Gautier's Somebody That I Used to Know and explain this song has nothing to do with us. And her listen to it and be like, great song, but it doesn't have anything to do with us. Enter in Dochi's fucking anxiety. And I play that for her. And I'm like, I get that you listen to Gautier's Somebody That I Used to Know, and it's hard to catch a vibe because you're like happily married. What the fuck do you mean I'm just somebody you used to know, right? We're fucking married. We sleep in the same bed. We live in the same house. I kiss each other goodbye and hello every day, talk for hours every day, eat meals together, love on each other, right? Like, what the fuck you talking about? Enter in Dochi's fucking anxiety. And now I can play Gautier's Somebody That I Used to Know, aim the song at my wife, and she's kind of bopping along with anxiety. You know what I mean? She's, oh, that's better. I can get with that. So yeah, I just want you all to know that I appreciate y'all. I don't at all care about audience size. Has never been the goal. I know that there's many people out there that want to slave drive me, that absolutely want me to go fast, you know, go form the American Socialist Party. Do you understand the CIA exists to kill socialist leaders? Do you understand that? As long as you can acknowledge that the entire reason that the CIA exists is to kill socialist leaders, can you then understand why I'm not in a big goddamn hurry? Right? All those people that are like, you gotta go fast. Hmm. How about I'm not trying to die? Good to go? Just throwing that out there. So make sure you delete Facebook threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger for sure, Twitter and Amazon off your devices. make sure that you eliminate all those apps off your devices. If you're gonna go protest, turn your fucking location off. Turn Face ID off your phone so that somebody doesn't put you in handcuffs, take your phone out of your pocket, shine it in front of your face. Now they've got your phone too. And actually, that's just like a if you leave your house thing. You know, you never know when you're gonna get stuck up, fucking tied to a tree, robbed, whatever. And they use your fucking Face ID to unlock your phone. Now they got your phone, and then they can presumably end your bank account. You know, I would end your bank account, delete all your email. You know what I mean? I'm not a robber though. But yeah, Donald Trump's talking about travel bans. So gonna be a wild one. Anyway, y'all have a good day. Stay safe out there.